And if you think about it, other folks can benefit from it. So that's right in the line of God's will, because he wants us to benefit one another. That's why he give us these giftings for.
That's true. Absolutely. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to go into, right. You talked about a very significant turning point in your life, investing into a coach, right?
Yeah.
And you you essentially did this, and you sold some items, and talk to us about this. And because so we talk about 3 Ds on the show, and I'll get to the third D in a second, but we talk about discovery, we talk
Mhm.
about development, and I'll get to the third D. But so I want us to go into development, right?
Yeah.
Development, and this totally deals with personal development, developing of oneself, and
Yeah.
yeah. So talk to me about this.
Oh
You
yeah.
invest in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Development is vital for anyone. I think, it took me a while to understand this, but God will give you a vision, or he'll show you the outcome. But he won't give you the steps you need to take to get there, or he won't lay out the path, the journeys, the ups and downs. Because if he shows you got to go these ups and downs, then you're not going to do it, right? You can be like, I'm cool, I'm gonna stay where I am, God. That's too hard. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So God is, he has a sense of humor like that. He's like, here's the outcome, here's what I have for you, but it's a lot of stuff you got to go through to get to that point. Just like if you a fine diamond, or go through the refinery process. So I would say that, yeah, I share the story of where I was and what happened, but going through that was moment, I've discovered that that's the most important moment. Going through the refinery process, going through the journey, going through the development.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're becoming who you are, right? Like success is not a destination; it's the process, it's the journey, and the development of investing in coaching. Because one thing I've discovered, no matter where you are in different levels, you're always going to hit a gap. You're going to hit a plateau,
Mm-hmm.
right? No matter where you are, like I tell my clients now, doesn't matter where you are, you may have some results. Earning your first $1,000 in your business
Yeah.
is a journey. And once you do that, now you want to get to 5,000. Guess what? It's a gap going from 1,000 to 5,000. It's a gap going from 5,000 to 10,000, or your first six-figure year or most. So there are
Right.
gaps along the way, and to me, there's only two ways to fill those gaps:
Mm-hmm.
mistakes or mentors.
That's right.
Right? In my opinion, mistakes are a lot less expensive, and mentors are a lot less expensive than mistakes,
For sure.
right? And so once I on my way to trying to grow, I plateau. I'm like, okay, I'm doing what I can do in my power based off my. So it's a saying I have that that's called. I say your best thinking has you where you are today. Your best thinking has you where you are today. So if you want something new, guess what? You got to take on a new way of thinking.
Right.
And it's insanity doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So you got to take on a new way of thinking. And the best way to take on a new way of thinking is finding someone who has the results that you want, and get their thoughts. Guess what? You get to compress time frames now. You
That's
know,
right.
what would take you 5 years by yourself, grinding and hustling and making mistake after mistake. With a
Right.
mentor, you can take 5 years and compress it into 5 months. So
For sure.
mentorship compresses time frames. It speeds up the cycle and the journey. So yeah. So at one time when I had $12.06 to my name, I was at a place. Literally, I was depressed. I was frustrated. My wife was ticked off. She was she was ready to divorce me because she was tired. We got kids, and she's like, okay, it's too up and down. There's no enough income coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and I had $12.06 to my name. I wanted to end my life, and like I said, but God delivered me from that. But
Mm-hmm.
after God delivered me from that, I still had to make a decision.